Hello and welcome to deckhive. Today I'm going to show you the new interface that we've been building. A lot of work's gone into this, but it's made hopefully some significant improvements. And I'm just going to show you how you can try it. It's now live on the deckhive site, so you can have a go yourself. And then after that, I'm going to go through some of the features as well. So the first thing you can do is it's basically exactly the same way of using it as you did before, only if you're going to start a new deck, instead of clicking the Start New Session here, you've now got the extra choice of Start New Session Alpha Development Version. And that's because this is still in development, it's still very early days, but we think it's fairly bug-free actually, but you may find some bugs, and actually we're looking for your feedback, so if you have any feedback, please let us know. Anything that doesn't work well, it's not so much features, although that's useful to know, but mainly if there are bugs at this stage, and obviously if there are features you'd like as well, let us know. That's also very well received. So if you're starting a new session, you do it there, and if you're opening an existing session, you now get this pop-up which says Open Session or Open Session Alpha Development Version, of course, because there are two ways you can get into it, for opening your first session or opening an existing session. So I'm going to do a new session here, so I'm going to click Start New Session Alpha Development Version, and that's going to take me in, and you'll see straight away you've got a little loading bar. You'll find this is a lot faster to load now than the previous version. It's working in a completely different way. We've rebuilt this from scratch, and this message here just sort of says about the fact that this is an alpha development version, and if you've got any feedback, please let us know. The first thing to note is down at the bottom left hand side now we now have this feedback button, and that's really that's where, if you have some feedback on this, we would love to hear it. Just click that button down there and it'll bring up this little form, and it'll allow you to enter the feedback you'd like to send to us, and then we can receive that and we can look at it and see if we can fix any issues that come up for you. So that's the first thing. So before I get started, as you'll notice that the interface looks to all intents and purposes the same as the previous interface. We're quite happy with the layout and the functionality in that regard. It was just the performance and some of the sort of compatibility issues and things. So in this version we've made some very significant performance improvements even. This will hopefully make it run very much better on even slower machines, so that will hopefully help a lot. We've changed the way that we do some of the real-time stuff, so this should help the any firewall issues people may have been having with the Google APIs, which we were using previously. We're no longer using those, so if you've got deckhive.com unblocked, then you shouldn't have any firewall issues at all. Just make sure any subdomains under deckhive.com are unblocked and you should be fine. So what that means is if you can see this site, you shouldn't have any firewall issues at all. It's more compatible now. We support more browsers. So, for example, Safari, which was giving problems before, now doesn't give any problems. It's absolutely fine. There's one strange issue with trackpads, and if you pinch and zoom. So just remember, if you're going to zoom on a trackpad on a Mac, just use your two-finger zoom, pushing back and forth with two fingers. That will work. Because if you do the pinch, it actually just pulls on Safari, at least. It actually just kind of it's the functionality of Mac OS and Safari that it minimises it and shows you the different browser screens that you can have. So that's still an issue, but there's nothing we can do about that actually. But it works well on Safari on Mac. It works well on Chrome on Mac. It should work in Firefox. Is a little bit slow, we've noticed, but basically it works fine. It works perfectly well on Chrome on every other system, so that should be absolutely fine. It also works on iPads. You probably don't want to try it on a phone, it's just too small to do this sort of thing, but it will work on an iPad, and we changed some of the features in there just to make sure that it works properly on iPad when you're using it like that. So a lot more compatible. We can reach a lot more different systems like that. You'll find the real-time system for updating the position of cards and things is a lot faster. Again, it's using a completely different technology. We've written this from scratch ourselves, and that hopefully you'll see significant improvements in that. You should find that the session management for bringing people on and off the sessions is better. It's a bit more responsive and a bit more, hopefully a bit more robust. Hopefully the navigation around, I'll show you some of the navigation tools in a second, which is a bit better. And the other thing is that the resolution itself the resolution of the items on the screens is also going to be higher. In fact, the content on here at the moment is still a relatively low resolution, but now when you create new decks, those decks will be a higher resolution. We will be replacing the existing decks that are on there with higher resolution versions of it. So that means that you'll get a higher resolution experience as you zoom in. There will be none of this pixelation that happened on some of the previous versions. So that's hopefully good as well. Let's get into it. I mean, to all intents and purposes, it operates in the same way. You click on your deck on the left-hand side here, and it opens up the tray here, and obviously you can scroll up and down there to get to the different cards, and you drag your cards on. You can literally drag as many on as you like. This shouldn't degrade the performance at all now because of the way that we've designed this. It will be a significant improvement in performance. As you can see, it's absolutely great, no problems at all. This is a fairly medium spec machine. There's nothing particularly special about this particular computer. Zoom in with the wheel and zoom out with the wheel. And one of the things that we had before was when you dragged cards, when you were zoomed, it was acting a bit strangely. They sort of drag at different speeds. This is now fixed, and these now drag in exactly the way they should do. So now this is a perfect opportunity to show you some of the navigation features we've got here. Down at the bottom right here, we've slightly changed these controls. You've now got this recenter, rezoom and then recenter button, and the idea of this is that anytime you want to get back to the original state, the sort of centralized view, you can click on the rezoom will take you back to recenter will take you back to the center of the screen, and rezoom will take you to the 100% view of that. And this is particularly good if somebody maybe gets lost, maybe they swipe the screen off and it's disappeared and they don't know where they are, they're lost. They can just recenter, rezoom, and they're back and they've found everything again, and that should be good. So that's hopefully a really useful feature. The cards themselves operate in the same way. You can flip them over. These ones actually don't have a reverse side. You can duplicate them. You can bin them if you want to get rid of them, and of course you can zoom them as well. So that's all good. One of the major features we've made in this new version is the sticky notes, which we've made significant improvements on. So now you just drag them onto your screen, and they appear like that. And you'll see we've got some options which overlay there. And also you'll notice a little drag handle at the bottom right-hand side here. This enables you to resize these sticky notes now. So this is a feature we were asked for quite a lot. So now you can resize it, and obviously you can move it around, and you can make it any size you want. You can make it tall and thin, or wide, or big O vision, or whatever you want. You've got the duplicate option, the bin option, which are the same as the other ones. You can now change the background color. We've made this a little bit easier to use, so you can change to whatever background color you would like, and let's say do a blue. And you can also change the text color, so you can, well, I'll put some text in there. So if you double click it, and just type some text in, it puts the text in. And since I changed that to, I've just changed it to orange. I can change it now to white. I can change it to dark blue, whatever I want. You can also change the size of that text, and you can change the alignment as well. So that might be a common thing to do, something like that. Okay, so and that's pretty much it. So you can kind of do quite a lot with those now. They're a little bit more flexible than they were before. So that's cool. Let's now, I'm going to start a new window, and I'm going to show you what it's like to bring somebody into this new session. Bear with me 1 second. Excuse me. Okay, so I've just got a new browser window here, and I'm just going to drag that across and split the screen into two like this, so that we've got two windows running now. And just in the same way as before, you'll notice, by the way, when I did that, this all resized nicely as well. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to activate this session. To activate it, of course, you have to save it. So I'm going to save this session. I'll call this demo, and click on continue. It takes a few seconds to save because it's copying all the images and stuff, and then it's done it. And now that's reopened again as a saved session, and now I can activate that session so that I can actually, so if you look here in the background, it's got draft session. If I activate this, it'll now go out of draft mode, and this will mean we can invite people, so that's now in full session mode now. So now I can use the buttons at the top left here to invite people to the session. So if I can click on here, it gives me a join link that I can copy to the clipboard, and then you'd send that to your guests via whatever means you fancy. And then I'm just going to paste and go on the right hand side here, and that'll take me in to join the session. I'm going to call myself Dougie because that's my name, and I'm going to go agree to the terms and conditions. Off we go, and that loads the session, and they're in. Now if I was to come back and do that again, let's say I got kicked out for some reason, I click on that link I've been sent again, it'll just take me straight into this session now because it already knows I'm Dougie. So it'll take me in and load the scene. And on the left hand window, the host window here, if I click in here, Dougie has now been entered into here. You've still got the option to add people to a guest room if you wish to do that, so I'll just show you that quickly as well. If I place guests in the waiting room before admitting them, and then this guest comes again, it just does exactly the same again. They'll go into the takes a few seconds to load. It says here that people are waiting now for me, and it says you're in the waiting room on the right hand side. So now I just go into here and admit them. So this is exactly the same as it was before. You'll see that the speed of this is a great deal faster though. So that deals with that. I'm going to turn that off now for the moment, just because it's a little bit so it just slows things up a little bit. Okay, so we've now got a user who's joined the session, and so you may have noticed that that's a lot faster. This is running on the live website on a perfectly normal web connection. And now I'm going to show you some of the real-time features, because now as you drag this around, instead of it kind of appearing to move after they've moved it and you're not knowing what's going on, it now moves in real time on both screens. And you'll notice on the left-hand side, the word Dougie has come up over that over that card, because I am Dougie, and the same if you do this. In fact, of course, I'm Doug Lapsley and Dougie, both of them, but the same happens the other way around. So whoever's dragging the card, you can see that person is dragging the card, so you can tell who's dragging the card, which is useful, and you can literally see where it goes and exactly that. So that's a big improvement. The flips and everything, these are all tied in as well, so those all work. So you can those connect between the machines as well. Let's say, for example, the host leaves now. Let's say something goes wrong and they leave the session. It instantly cuts all the guests off, because the host is the master in here. But if I go back into this, the moment I go back into this and open it in the alpha version again, it'll reconnect and everything's great and everything just works again. So this will make a big difference to getting people back in. And if your guest leaves, let's say they leave the session like that, they go to a rejoin screen, which if they can click continue, this just takes them out. Of course, they can click the link that you sent them again. That will do what I showed you earlier, or they can click on rejoin, and if they click on rejoin, it'll take them straight back in, and hey, they're back up and running again. So hopefully some quite significant improvement in that as well. So that's the crux of it, pretty much. And another thing with the sticky notes that's worth noting in the real-time stuff is that the sticky notes, all the sticky notes properties, all update in real time as well. So you'll see all of those change. And as you enter text, for example, so this is text, you'll see that on the right-hand side it's real time. Hi there, and then you click to commit it, and that's done, and it's just off it goes. So all of this is a lot more responsive. Anyway, hopefully that's good. We look forward to hearing how you get on. Please do give us some feedback if you think this is if there's something that isn't working properly, or you notice a bug or something. Otherwise, hopefully that's a very useful update for you, and we appreciate your support. Thanks very much.